Hello, welcome back. In the last video, we talked about what Python and PictoBlox are. In this video, we are going to take a deep dive into the PictoBlox interface. We'll get familiar with how the interface works, understand when and how to use the different tools available. And before the end of this lesson, we will officially write our first Python code. Let's get started. Alright, so I have my browser opened and I'm going to navigate to PictoBlox.ai. And this is going to take us to the PictoBlox website, and I want to expand my screen so that we can see the interface in full. This loading screen looks a lot familiar. And then we are going to start from blocks so I can explain the interface properly. Let's click on blocks, and I assume this interface is supposed to look familiar to you. If it does not look familiar to you, then you need to check the explanation of our Scratch interface. So I've added the link to that video in the description below. The first thing I want to show you is how to switch from blocks to Python. So if I click on Python at the top right here, it's going to tell us that we are switching from block environment to coding environment, which is Python coding. And it says you are switching to the Python coding environment. The block code will not work parallelly with the Python code. It means whatever block code we have written in the block environment will not translate to Python code. So I hope that's clear. Let's go ahead. And then the first thing I want to show you in the Python environment are the project files right here. Notice that we have stage.py and toby.py, and these files are referring to the stage file is referring to our stage right here. If you see, when I click on it, the stage is highlighted, and when I click on toby.py, the character is highlighted for a while. If I click on choose a sprite and decide to bring in a new character, let's take Isaac, this robot. You can see on our project files, we have a new file called isaac.py. So whenever we bring in a new sprite, we're going to generate a .python file for that sprite. Even a background, we're going to create a new Python file for it. Alright, next thing I want to show you is this modules library. And just to mention, right here, we can add some files on our own. You can see we can add a text file, we can add an image, and we can add a new Python file on our own, right? When we look at modules and libraries, we can see the sprites we have here, and we can see a table module. But the most important thing to know is clicking on this box icon here, where we can add extension to our project, just like we have extensions in Scratch, right? So we have lots of extensions here, and we're going to talk about extensions much more later in the course and how we can use them in PictoBlox environment. And then we have this icon here that tells us to install a pip. I'm going to close that. It tells us to install a pip package. A pip package is actually a Python package, and a package is just a code that another programmer has written for us to use in our own code. Now, the way PictoBlox work is that if I try to click this, it tells us that in PictoBlox in the web browser, we don't need to install any libraries. We just need to import it, and PictoBlox will handle the installation for us. So I hope this is clear. Now let's talk about this code area. So this is our code area, the area where we write our code. Now I'm going to zoom in so we can see the code clearly, and we can also zoom out or just fit into the normal size. So I like it zoomed in so you can see the code clearly. Now this sprite code is automatically generated for us with the file, right? And this sprite here stores the object which is referring to the sprite, and provides all the necessary functions and methods that we can use to manipulate that sprite and tell it to do something. So let's write our first Python code. We are going to print. I need to Control Z. Yeah, so I need to go to the next line. Let's write our first Python code. Let's print. So print is a Python statement that is just going to output something on our terminal. At the bottom here, you can see the terminal, right? It's going to output anything we print to the terminal. So let's print this variable here, Sprites, and we'll talk about variables much more later in the course. So if I click on this run button, it's going to run the current file we are in. It's not going to run stage.py and toby.py, but it's going to run ivic.py because that's the current file we are in. So if I click run, it's going to run just this file. But what if we want to run everything? I need to, so let's write print inside Toby. If I write print Sprite, all I need to do is to click run all, and it's going to run the script, the Python code on all the files. So it's going to take a while more than just running a single file. So you can see we are printing the object from toby.py and from ivic.py. So you see it's saying sprite object. So this is actually an object. And we're going to get into that much more later in the course. At the bottom here, we have log. Why terminal is used to look at outputs from our code. Log is used to track errors from our code. So I'm deliberately going to write a syntax that Python does not recognize by adding an extra T to the end of this print statement. Then if I run just this file, you can see on our log, we have an error. It's very important because the log shows us when there's an error on our code, when there's a syntax error. We can actually copy that error and share it with a community of developers, or maybe give it to an AI chatbot like ChatGPT or Gemini to just fix this error for us, or explain the error if we don't know what it is. So the log is also very important, and can also delete it or search for a particular error if a lot of things have been printed on the log, right? Let's clear the log and let's fix the error. Let's fix this error and let's run it again, and we get the result we're expecting. We can also clear our terminal just like we can clear the log, and let's just run, and we're getting the sprite object again. Now the next thing I want to show you is this debugger. This icon here stands for debugger, and debugger is how we can debug errors in our code. We can use it to debug syntax error, or we can use it to debug logic errors. Logic errors are errors resulting from our code not working as intended. So when our code is not working as intended, what we have is not a syntax error, it's a logic error coming from the logic behind the code, right? So this is our debugger tool, and we're going to get into it much more later in the course. And then we can expand our terminal. We can expand it and we can collapse it. And the next thing I want to talk about is this repo mode, where we can run the Python interpreter continuously on the terminal to test Python code. And very important, let's say we want to test the output of our code or the behavior of the code before writing it on our code area. We can simply write it. So the Python interpreter is now running when you see these 3 angle brackets facing the right. So if I say print, and let me print my name on the terminal and click enter, it's going to print my name. If I say 1 plus 1, which is a valid Python code, it gives us 2. So let me expand the terminal so you can see this clearly. And we can write, let's do another print statement so that you can see it clearly. Print name and click enter, and we get name. Now, if you want to stop it from running, just click on the button again and it stops running. Now, as far to this sprite area here, I guess you're already familiar with that from Scratch. And like I said, if it does not look familiar to you, then you need to watch the Scratch interface tutorial. Okay, so as far to as these buttons we have at the top here, we have cut. So I guess you already know what it can do. If I select a line of code or multiple lines of code and click cut, it's going to cut it, and I can just press Ctrl V to paste it back. And we have copy, we have undo and redo, and we have this button here which we can use to paste. So, and then we have comments. This button here is used for comments, and we can disable auto completion. And then we have search when we want to search for something. And then you see these two buttons here, they are disabled because it only works on the block environment. And then we have this firmware. If you are wondering what this firmware is used for, it's used for hardware. So if I click on upload from firmware, saying please select the board and its corresponding ports, because it's used for interacting with hardware. And then we have upload, which is also used for interacting with hardware. And if we go to settings, we can set our coding environment preferences, audio and video settings, and technical support to contact the PictoBlox team. If I click on coding environment preferences, you see we have turbo mode for block coding, turbo mode for Python coding. We want to leave this as it is, and we don't want to automatically clear the terminal. So if you read through it, it's very simple to understand. And let's leave the coding environment default on none. I'm going to close this. So this is basically everything we need to know about the PictoBlox interface. So in this video, we have successfully learned about the PictoBlox interface, and we wrote our first Python code. In the next video, we are going to see how we can use Python for movement and coordinates. But right now, I'm confident that you feel very comfortable with moving around the PictoBlox interface and switching between block mode and Python mode, and you have a basic understanding of what all the tools here are used for. Now, before you leave, make sure you subscribe, like this video, share it with someone who you might find it helpful to, and leave a comment below if you have any question. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.